What do you think is the worst contract on the team this upcoming season?
Can I think I know where you're going with it. I
I
think
mean, it's
you're going
different every
arm.
year, right? It's different every
You're
year.
going Armstead. You're going Armstead.
When I say worst, it's like it's the one that looks the most difficult for the player to live up to, given what the number is and the position they play.
You're going
Almost
Armstead. I
fell off.
know last year you felt it was George Kittle, but I think Brock Purdy proved that wrong. Um,
Well, I
because he was
don't.
actually
George
going to
Kittle's
get.
cap number was like 8 last year. I think he was fine. I think it goes up this year. But if he stays healthy, I think he's shown that he can live up to that. Christian McCaffrey can live up to the 12 million they're paying him. Debo's number hasn't gotten big yet, but the two highest paid players on the team are Trent Williams and Eric Armstead. Let me just get the numbers real quick because it's staggering. Trent Williams' cap number this upcoming season is 27.2, and Eric Armstead's is 23.9. So let me just put that in context. Like, if Trent Williams were a quarterback, he would be the 12th highest paid quarterback in the league. And if Armstead were a quarterback, he'd be the 13th highest paid quarterback, 14th highest paid. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, these guys are getting quarterback money, and I don't even know that quarterbacks can justify getting this much money. Left tackles and D tackles, maybe. But to me, look, you're the best left tackle in football. Okay. Eric Armstead, making more money than DeForest Buckner, making 10.3% of the salary cap. Okay. Well, he's going to need to stay healthy and I think produce a little bit more than in the run game and some pressures. At least to
So,
justify taking up 10% of the salary cap. 10%.
do you know if you gave Armstead a post one cut, you would then have 24 mil in the cap space, as opposed
Yeah, but it'd be a little
to
late to use it. But yeah, it's too bad you can't trade him you can't trade him right now for a pick that
yeah.
you could use on another defensive tackle that the Niners would definitely get right.
I'd imagine what they're going to do is they'll probably restructure. They'll probably restructure Armstead, restructure Kittle,
It's
uh,
extended. That's great. Yeah, just keep him here
restructure
forever.
restructure McCaffrey. That's
Yeah,
probably
they got to do something with this. You can't have Eric Armstead taking up 10% of your cap because he's a good player, but there is no world in which he's that good. That is way too. I mean, I don't even like spending that on quarterback on a D tackle whose main gift is run defense. No, you gotta work that out. Can't have that. Can't have
if
that.
they don't restructure it, I think that it'll be a hint that they may want to cut him next year because they would look at it and be like, all right, well, we don't want to take that huge hit. If we have to restructure, then cut him next year. That's our plan. We just get rid of him next year. But
He
I think
missed half the season this year, and I don't know what his cap number was way lower this year. So when he's on the bench, it's okay. It's $8 million on the bench. That's not the end of the world. You put $24 million on the bench for half a year, you're going to notice it probably. And we just went through all the guys who aren't coming back most likely this year. There's a lot of D linemen we listed. I don't know. I mean, yeah, Armstead, great player, man. Like, this would be a great time for you to do that 2019 thing you did again, if you could, please.
Well, they got to get more help on that D line. Like we thought, like at the beginning of the year, we thought that this is the greatest D line ever, and then
Nah, I gave it a C plus for this year. It was
really
Bosa.
It was
called
Bosa.
Bosa. I don't know, and we're saying like the Niners need to get a complimentary pass rusher. Well, it'd be great if the D lineman they're spending $24 million on this year could do that. That's generally what you're expecting when you spend $24 million on a D lineman, regardless of position, is that he's going to be a factor as a pass rusher. And I do not believe that the Niners extended this man's contract thinking he wouldn't be a factor. You gave him the deal after he had 10 sacks in a season. You thought you would unlock something with Chris Kasarik. You didn't unlock nothing because he's got fewer than 10 sacks since then. I'm sorry. He needs to be the guy they thought he was, which is more than the person. On Twitter, people just constantly say he's so underrated. Like, is he underrated, or is he the guy that's everyone says is underrated, so now he's overrated?
What's his pressure rate?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't.
Do you? Does that? Is that what you're paying? I don't know.
Well,
$24 million. $24 million. You know how I feel? The double digit rule with salary cap percentages. The double digit rule. Like that should be for quarterbacks only. And they should be for top 5 quarterbacks. Do you want one good defense? And we're going to talk about it now. So the next guy who's going to be the next highest paid person is Nick Bosa. When he gets paid, it's going to be crazy. He's going to be making 35 plus million a year. It's going to be a lot guaranteed. He's going to be like a top 10 quarterback in the league in terms of money. How you feel about that? A DN.
I mean, I think there's 3 positions you pay: quarterback, tackles, and defensive ends or pass rushers. I think. So I'm fine with paying that. I think what you don't want to pay, Grant, is like you don't want to pay like the quarterback position, or like you don't want to pay a high price for mediocre play.
You don't.
You're paying a premium. You're paying for a premium for a premium pass rusher. Like, so you can argue, maybe Nick Bosa wasn't the best defensive end or pass rusher in the game, but he's definitely in the top 3. So,
and you're going to pay him like he's number 1.
Yeah, but that changes yearly, right? So like he's going to be number 1 this year, but then next year he won't be. So,
that's true.
Your value is you're going to get minimum top 5 for him, top 5 play for him, as high as 1, and his pay is going to be around that. I don't think the contract isn't necessarily Bosa. It's like
how many guys on your team can you have making double digit and making like 10 plus % of your salary cap? How many? The Niners are going to be at 3 pretty soon.
That's a problem.
3. That's crazy to me. And I guess Bosa's not the problem. But at a certain point, you're way too top heavy. And we already said the Niners' problem on their D-line is just Bosa and no one else. Well, that's only going to be exacerbated once he's making $37 million a year.
Right. I think people applauded the Christian McCaffrey trade at the time and then giving them the push for the Super Bowl. But now that's $11 million or $12 million it's eating into their cap right now.
Yeah.
Right. And last year people like killed me when I suggested trading Debo. I just didn't. I was looking ahead and like, all right, well, I know Debo's really good, but you got IU coming up. I feel like you can always find wide receivers in the draft. Trade a guy, give yourself cap room, and then draft another wide receiver. But
I'm just checking Hassan Reddick out real quick. What is his situation? Is he a free agent?
He's a free agent. Fletcher Cox.
Do you think they're going to re-sign him?
They're not going to be able to keep all their guys. If you look at they are cap strapped, and they've got, I believe Fletcher Cox is a free agent. Their other defense tackle is a free agent. And
no. They got Reddick. They got Reddick for next year. He signed through 2020. He signed through 2024, and his cap number is Fletcher's older, but I mean, he's got no guaranteed money this year. They could cut him, but his cap number is $20 million this year. Hassan Reddick. That's reasonable. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want a premier edge rusher, and I'm down to spend $20 million on him, but Nick Bosa, is he that much better than Hassan Reddick that you're going to spend $35 million a year? Like, I know the Niners are going to give it to him. And I know if they traded him, it would be like the Oakland A's. It would be very unpopular. But, man, some of these positions, they're expensive, man. Do you have a good O-line or a good left tackle? Do you have a good D-line or a good D-end? You tell me. Da-da-da.
You brought this up with the Eagles. If the Eagles decide to they drafted the center last year and they decided they're going to move on with that guy, would you, if you were the Niners, if Kelsey was in the market?
Yes. See, to me, instead of getting the highest paid D end or left tackle, because those are like quarterback positions, you could trade Nick Bosa for $1 million first round picks, and they'll go get like a great corner, a great center, a great right tackle, all positions that are cheaper than that. But
so, if Niner fans, if you don't have a rooting interest in the Super Bowl, maybe you should root for Kansas City, since you hate the Eagles anyways because they just stopped. Root for Kansas City, so that way it'll make Kelsey want to play another year, and then maybe the Niners might be able to pull off a trade for Kelsey.
Kelsey would be he's so good. He would make them so much better. If they could get Kelsey and Lane Johnson too.
Oh, yes.
Lane Johnson, I think that the highest paid players on the Eagles are Darius Slay and Lane Johnson. I bet you Darius Slay gets extended and reworked. And Lane Johnson's making about $24 million a year, which is a lot, but it's not as much as Trent. But he's not as good as Trent. Other than those two, I don't think there's anyone else on that team making more than like $11 million a year. If you want to look at a team, to me, the model organization right now is Philly. Sorry if I'm too much. I feel like Howie knows what he's doing. Maybe it's because it's a Jewish thing.
It's Slay's making his cap number is 26.
I know they got to do something about that. That's too much. That's way too much. But I feel like they will, because look at the rest of the people. Like, no one else is making more than 11. Him and Lane Johnson making 20 plus. Everyone else is cheap. Jalen Hurts will be expensive eventually. But it seems like they kind of understand you can't be too top heavy in this league. You got to have a serious middle area of your team like this. Like, this is what it looks like. The middle area of the team. You can't just be, you know what I'm saying? It helps when you talk with your hands. Otherwise, people wouldn't understand what you're talking about.
Right.
You have to